Ukraine's Azov battalion reportedly reclaimed hotly contested territory in the Donetsk region, as both sides of the conflict trade deadly blows.
Volodymyr Zelensky tells Italian business leaders Ukrainians have no choice to fight more than 2 years after Russia invaded the country.
The Italian Prime Minister said it was in her country's national interest to support Ukraine, reiterating her commitment to peace and support for Kyiv. People are taking to the streets of France after President Macron selected a centre-right candidate as Prime Minister, despite success of the left in recent elections. Massive attacks devastated parts of Ukraine and Russia as the two nations traded overnight blows. Russia launched dozens of drones at Ukraine, though the vast majority were shot down or destroyed. Local media say 4 were killed and over 100 people were injured. The bombardment followed a week of increased long-range attacks across Ukraine, including a missile strike on a military academy and hospital on Tuesday that killed 55 and wounded hundreds. Meanwhile, Kyiv has continued to launch its own offensive against Russia, reportedly reclaiming territory in parts of the country and hitting an ammunition warehouse. The Azov Brigade said they had held their position against Russian attacks in New York, a Ukrainian settlement in Donetsk. They claimed to have regained control of part of the settlement despite what they previously described as a catastrophic situation.
Ukrainians won this war to...
Volodymyr Zelensky has said Ukrainians have no choice to fight and defend our lives more than 2 years after Russia invaded the country. Speaking to Italian business representatives at the Chernobyl Forum at Lake Como, Zelensky said Ukrainians want this war to end more than anyone else in the world. Zelensky continued to stress Ukraine's need for faster delivery of long-range weapons from international partners, and again appealed for permission to strike deeper into Russia, insisting that Ukraine only intended to target military airfields.
What we want, how to use this long-distance weapon, just on military airfields, just to use this weapon, which can work with 100 and 300 kilometers. That's all.
In a post on X, Zelensky thanked Italy for working with Kyiv to implement the Ukraine Peace Formula, a 10-point proposal to end the war unveiled by Zelensky in November 2022. Zelensky is expected to hold talks with Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni on Saturday.
Thousands of people took to the streets across France to protest President Emmanuel Macron's decision to appoint centre-right politician Michel Barnier as Prime Minister. Left-wing parties are accusing Macron of ignoring the results of the recent legislative elections after he refused to pick the candidate of the new Popular Front alliance, which came out on top in the July vote. Barnier has emphasised the importance of healthcare reform, particularly improving access to care and addressing the issue of medical deserts in both urban and rural areas. Protests against what is seen by demonstrators as a presidential power grab were set to take place in more than 150 cities across France. The demonstrations were organised by the France Unbowed group as well as several student unions.
Libya's Coast Guard on Friday returned a boat carrying 64 migrants to Sirte, the town they had just set off from. On Wednesday, the Italian Coast Guard released this dramatic video of them rescuing 9 migrants after their boat capsized off the island of Lampedusa. They also recovered a body of one of the migrants. The boat had set off from Libya with 32 people on board from Egypt and Syria. By the time of the rescue, 22 were already missing, presumed drowned when the boat capsized. According to the International Organization of Migration, nearly 67,000 migrants have gone missing in the Mediterranean in the past 10 years. They are presumed to have perished in the sea as they try desperately to reach Europe. So far this year, 43,000 migrants have reached Italy, far fewer than the previous year when around 20,000 arrived in just 1 month alone in August.